Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Counselor's Office. I'm Mr. Gaming Counselor, and welcome back to another episode of Bungie's a shitty company that no one trusts. And here we have a perfect example of why, how this is the case. There has been this drama that's been blowing up on Twitter, and even Bungie has come out and shed some light. And I say light because, whether you trust them or don't, which majority of the community doesn't. The title for Paul Tassi's tweet, a Destiny 2 theory emerges about rigged wait versus chilled inhibitor drops. Yes, like you heard it right here. There was a tweet, and I'm going to go to the original tweet. This tweet right here. Bungie says they don't wait. Okay, that's not the original. That's not the original. The original, we're just going to click on Spark right here. This is the original tweet. Destiny, it seems like the new versus chill inhibitor perks are weighted against Envious Arsenal plus bait and switch, and I proved it with a binomial test. So I chose to collect data. I'm reading it right here on the side. I chose to collect data from 13 player completions of activation. The first encounter, the loot table has 6 drops from this encounter, and the grenade launcher has 6 perks in each column. So the expected probability of the god roll is 1 out of 6. I don't do math. Binomial tests are commonly used to test hypothesis about the probability of success, getting the roll versus failure, anything else. My null hypothesis is that the god roll follows the expected probability of 1 out of 6, 3 with a confidence interval of 99.999, way above normal. This is the code I use to generate my p-value. If the p-value is less than alpha 1c1, the hypothesis is rejected, given 1 point. There's a lot of terminology. We reject the hypothesis that the god roll follows the expected probability. In other words, in 100,000 worlds, we live in the one where no one has the roll. Huh? Are we memeing? I don't know. Like, I'm sure someone has this roll. A chi-square goodness of fit test would be more applicable for this, but that requires data from each outcome's frequency. Like GG has the 8 most popular rolls have in their vault, even among which doesn't have the god roll, but you need the other 28 rolls as well. Even this would be flawed, since this is what people choose to keep, not the raw drop data to collect the total trials. I summed up various people's incomplete runs from activity.report. While this isn't the exact number of times they completed, activation is also certainly isn't the largest source of error. There were a bunch of other people. I saw a lot of similar comments, so wanted to address them by continuing the thread. I'm acutely aware that developers have said there is no perk waiting on the weapon before, so my cavalier claim that was meant to make the post more sensational. I'm pleased it sparked a conversation internally and sincerely applaud the response. Though there are issues with my data collection, I hope they take the time to look at this more closely and do their own analysis. I can sympathize with DMG pet peeve with players constantly believing devs are lying. So what is he saying? Well, if you look at the community, people are memeing on Bungie saying, Bungie, the perks are not weighted, also Bungie, and people get the same perks. And I've gotten multiple of the same perks multiple times, right? And you have people bringing up, well, this former Bungie developers like, yeah, that's not a thing. We can't do that. We can't code a game to do that. And someone's like, what about Season of the Hunt, where they literally made it to where you can include specific perks and then also exclude specific perks? So like, I'm gonna say what no one wants to say. You can absolutely weigh perks. This is not like a brain, like God's gift to the universe that someone couldn't figure out how to weigh a specific perk, because there's gacha games that literally do that. They weigh drops. It is not hard to do that at all. Let's live in Fantasyland to expect that a billion-dollar company, to try to improve retention, wouldn't try to encourage weighing of perks. Hell, they have map weighing, that maps are more likely to show up. Let's not live in lava land, right? Not saying that I'm not fighting and saying that it is. I think there's a conversation to have whether there is weighing, but I can tell you it can happen. It can, most likely does exist in certain forms. Bungie wouldn't be the first developer in a game to do it. Like, let's let La Land, and let's look at what DMG has to. Like, I don't feel bad for him because this is his job. So, PERK RNG, the team isn't tipping the scale to prevent you from getting your desired roles. Happy to pass along feedback about rough streaks of RNG and all that. Favorite comment: it's true. when I don't get the role I want, but it's false when I get the role I want. Yes. Sure, buddy. Sure. I mean, I think there's a lot more people specifically saying, and you could even argue red borders from like Garden of Salvation is like really bad. I don't know. I'm not saying that there's any red borders, but I'm saying it would not surprise me from Bungie's point of view that they absolutely do have weighing of some sorts. I fully admit one of the biggest pet peeves in the game space is the devs are lying to us. During my time in game dev, I haven't had a single conversation with a designer, tester, marketer, or other that insinuated that misleading lying to player would be a good idea. See, that's where DMG is thinking logically. Bungie lies. They gaslight. In fact, I would argue even DMG is trying to gaslight the community right here. And it's his job to gaslight, by the way. He's supposed to manage the community. I don't trust anyone from Bungie. Just don't, because they have tried gaslighting. They have lied. They have deceived. And they have tried to paint things in a different picture and a different light. Yeah, so this is very insincere. I don't appreciate this trying to, oh, they're lying to us, because you have lied to us, jackass. Mistakes can happen. Bugs can crop up. Miscommunication too. Yeah. Oh, guys, we miscommunicated. We totally didn't lie or deceive you. Just like this patch note that just came up, people acknowledged this like way back when, a week, 2 weeks ago, that ignitions were bugged. And by the way, guys, we just wanted to finally tell you that we specifically nerfed ignitions against the Vesper boss so that it would do less damage after multiple times. But our bad, we just broke the game. And so everything in the game now has the same resistance to ignitions. Whoops, miscommunication. That's the kind of shit that people don't trust Bungie for because they're dumbasses. They're incompetent, and it's hard to take them for face value when they make stupid choices and they wait to the last minute to say anything. How is it that someone talks about RNG and posts a thing about RNG being weighed and they immediately say something, but bitch, we talk about ignitions being bugged and crickets. And then we get a random, a random tweet out of nowhere. By the way, we forgot to mention that this is happening. Why is it not it? That's another thing. It's specific things they're willing to immediately talk about. And it adds a little bit more sus to the fact they're quick to acknowledge that issue, but not other issues that have been apparent for a while. Guys, shh, don't talk about the weighing. Shh, don't, stop. But let's continue. There could still be a bug glitch affecting drop rates. Folks on the team double checked before we issued comms. Some folks have checked in the past when similar threads spun up on weapon during previous release. We'll probably keep spot checking from time to time too. Would suck if a bug indeed happened. From what we're seeing though, no bug, no tipping scales, no weighing. Yeah, again, that was a month ago or a minute ago. But let's just be honest here. Of course, the billion-dollar company is going to deny it. Of course. We have politicians that are being shown to do illegal bullshit. And of course, they're going to deny it. I'm not going to trust a billion-dollar company. I'm sorry. Was just talking about this. I think the issue is the 3 armor pieces and the 3 weapon drops for each account. It just feels like it's impossible to target farm. I agree with this. Make everything craftable. I don't know. I don't agree with that. But I find it funny because this is perfectly encapsulating my true feelings about this whole drama. I like how not a single person believes the studio or anything the studio says. Nice reputation. And that's it, right? If Bungie had a reputation where they weren't lying or gaslighting, people would trust them. They would say, you know what? Just chalk it up to bad RNG. But no one trusts them because Bungie, we're talking about the company that has a soft cap on the economy for resources for no damn reason other than retention. We just got an increase in how many threads for transmog we can carry. We can have 18. It was 10. But what benefit was it? Retention. Even though you play any other real MMO, transmog is free and you could do it infinitely. Not only that, but they let you have millions of currency because they let you play the damn game. And that's the thing. That is the accumulation. People are going to like, oh, it's not a big deal. But people are also really disingenuous and they're not really looking at the bigger picture. They're not looking at all the detailed accounts of Bungie lying and deceiving and trying to make it out like it's for the benefit of the player. This is some bullshit. It is. And I absolutely believe they're lying because they've lied in the past. And even if they're not lying, their fault. They're the ones that push the community to the point where they don't trust a damn thing they say. I think, like any other studio, would have much more people believing in this and chalking it up to bad luck. Just happens that the studio has misinformed players either intentionally or unintentionally like this multiple times on record. Yes, we have on record multiple times where they have lied. Yeah, LMLF, they actually lie to us all the time, like when they gaslight us about PvP matchmaking every DLC too. One day they will write TWAB's patch notes without disguising true intents and actually info behind 4 layers of diversion. I'll probably be dead and the company won't really exist, but I'm sure they will one day, surely. Not happening, buddy. Even if they wanted to, they couldn't, as the brain parasite gets them first. Y'all will do anything but acknowledge the R in RNG. I can think of another R that describes you perfectly. Bungie bot got ratioed. And there you go. Here we go. This is the Bungie ball fondlers right there. Let's give the $1 billion company R. I know the R that describes you perfectly. That was a spicy ratio. I believe them. Hey, bro, I got this new business venture, bro. If you refer 5 friends, you got a bonus. Sounds stupid, Eva. I'm all in. My life be like, whoo. Now, people who play this game have such a victim complex. I swear to God. I don't think it's a victim complex. I think technically we are victims to abuse. We are absolutely abused. And it's kind of our faults, right? Like anyone who plays this game, it is your own fault. You have mental illness for playing this game, for ever trusting Bungie or even giving them the benefit of the doubt. We are victims, but by our own hands. We're mentally challenged. Not mentally challenged. We're mentally handicapped. We need help. We need therapists. Every person that continues to trust in Bungie needs a therapist because there's something wrong with them. It generally might be just dumb luck. I got conditional finding. Okay, let's continue on. So even like people are Destiny player RNG back in the game and then convince themselves it's raid with full statistics breakdown. It's impressive test, by the way, but we can just enjoy that there's some sort of chase without going down the rabbit hole of big Bungie doesn't want you to have God roll. Like there's so much more in the game to focus energy on improving. I mean, I actually would argue differently. RNG, for the people that want crafting, this is a good argument for why people want crafting. Because the RNG is so goddamn bad. And this is why I think a middle ground for those who want to farm and for those who don't want to spend their life getting railed by Bungie's RNG, I think we need attunement for perks. I absolutely do. I think there needs to be vendors for each dungeon and raid that isn't craftable, and you should be able to attune a specific perk. I think that is absolutely what should happen. Unironically, this is a perfect example of why people want crafting. I mean, listen, I'm fair. Even though I hate crafting, I'm fair. I'm a fair guy. That's it. This is like this is every crafter's wet dream of like, see, this is why we need crafting. And I'm like, see, this is where we can make improvements and put attunements. Bitch. I'm just joking. You're right. Fundamentally, people are having a hard time getting. And what's funny is people are doing the dupe cheese, which is even easier to get the grenade launcher before it was patched. So I imagine people got more grenade launcher drops than they prototypically would. So they're seeing how bad the RNG is. For the record, I was never a fan of RNG being back in the game. The title was very cavalier, but it's still statistically significant. Yeah, the stat breakdown was good, Reed. I happened to land on the other side of the fence. I like RNG. I just want clear farms with RNG. No, it's Aaron. I don't know what's going on here. But, I mean, Bungie actually came out and said, hey, we want a conversation with Sandbox folks this morning about this. There's no perk weighing activity for any legendary weapon perks in Destiny 2. We have added perk attunement for exotic class items in a recent update. That's a different system. Yeah, like also leaving out, leaving in and leaving out specific perks is also a system. Like, listen, I just because a big company comes out and says, hey, it's not in the game, I have no reason to trust you. Bungie has not got my trust. There's nothing that they have done to actually gain trust. Like, there's nothing. There's nothing that they have done to gain trust. They're scummy. They're liars. They're deceptive. And it's their own damn fault. That's the bottom dollar. The community does not trust them so much that even if they are being honest, which I'm still on the other side that they're not, but the fact that people do not trust this company with the most simplest thing, such as random drops, says volumes. That is the legacy of their reputation right now. That people can't even farm a gun and believe that it is completely random RNG. I'm sorry. That is pathetic. Whereas people are playing other games and full-heartedly. I mean, there are people who are more willing to trust mobile games with random luck RNG than they are Destiny, a PC console game. And we all know mobile games are gotcha games, but people are probably going to be more trusting of those companies and their drop rates than this game right here, this company. And it is all Bungie's damn fault. They've lied, they've deceived, they've gaslighted. I mean, Lightfall, I think Lightfall was such a massive gaslight to the community. It was such a debate, such an insult. That that's why a lot of people did not buy into the final shape, because they didn't want to they didn't want to fall for Bungie's lies. And like a perfect example of what's the most recent lie, episodes. Episode Echoes was supposed to be a change to the formula, an evolution, and all we got was the same garbage. Where the first season or whatever following the big expansion is lower quality because of that, and that wasn't supposed to be a thing because we got less content this year, and it's supposed to be changing the formula and evolution from seasons, and we evolved backwards. I have a whole review on it. But that's a perfect example of being gaslit and lied by Bungie. It's just they don't earn the trust of the community. I think it's just so funny that so many people just don't believe them. I mean, again, people like this, almost as if RNG ain't it, never been it. But the thing is I've farmed for years, and I usually get something. Now, have I been farming the grenade launcher? I mean, I got one with Demolitionist bait and switch, and I love it for my Warlock. Like, people are trying to use Cascade and all this other envious arsenal. Like, I don't care. I like my Demolitionist just throwing nades, blowing my load. Hot. But I guess I'll find out if I ever care enough to try to farm the god roll of this. Might be crazy to imagine, but some of us don't want this level of RNG in the game. Get RNG back isn't a universal considered good thing, particularly not when they're just delaying making crafting weapons craftable. I'm not wasting time farming RNG. I'm just waiting. Again, I think with bad RNG, there's an argument. I think RNG is still fun. I think the chase of the weapon is still good. Unironically, I chased red borders for Garden of Salvation and got ass. I got nothing. I got normal god roll weapons, and it pisses me off that craftable weapons exist, because if it was just regular drops, I could have enhanced all the god roll weapons I got naturally farming. But because bullshit crafting weapons exist, especially in raids, all my god rolls I can't enhance, and I think it's bullshit. Because you have to have the crafted version to enhance it. It sucks ass. Literally have the god roll fusions that I want, and they're already worse than the crafted bullshit. Anyways, that's a side rant. I just wanted to talk about it. I'm gonna end, 20-minute video. I'm gonna end it. Let me know what you think. Like, what I think the question of whether they can do it or can't do it, I think we all know they can do it. We all know they can absolutely. They've added new levers. They even talked times in the past. We've changed things to add more levers into the game. And let's not act like games don't already weigh things. Let's not act like we already have things in Destiny that are weighed as well. Let's just live in reality where they make the game and they can do anything with the game. Can we just live in this reality and acknowledge, yes, they can totally do it. Weighing perks is absolutely a possibility. They can do it. Now, whether they do it or not, I think the real important thing to point out here is that the community just doesn't trust Bungie. Bungie's reputation as a trustworthy company has gone down the toilet, and Bungie really hasn't done anything to change that. And I don't think changing the frontiers and changing things is really going to change things overall. I think their actions in general have to change for people to begin to trust them. And some people just never will trust them. I personally will probably want to be one of those people. I'm not going to be stupid and trust them. I'll give them a benefit of doubt, but I'm not going to be full like, oh yeah, Bungie's back, baby. They're back to their good old self. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't believe it. Anyways, I'm Mr. Gaming Council. Let me know what you think. It's just an interesting topic. I think this would never be a topic if people trusted Bungie. That's the funny thing. I think if people trusted Bungie, this would never be a thing. Let me know in the comments down what you think. As always, hit the like button, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel for more. Till next time, game out. Huzzah.